So welcome back everybody. I thought I would do a quick video on the Part 1 registry for our new catamaran sailing vessel. And the reason why I'm going to quickly do this is because I found it quite confusing when I first bought the boat. Buying a boat from a foreign seller in Greece in a foreign country when you English and from the UK obviously caused its own issues and confusions over the steps required. So in this video I'm going to show you just quickly how I got around it and managed to get through from start to finish on the UK Part 1 registration, and we'll cover off why I took Part 1 rather than a Part 3, the small ships register, just to make that clear. So what is clear about all the registrations and the reason why we do it is everything needs to be registered. You know, you register your car with a V5 logbook, etc. You have deeds for a house, and just like a boat, it's a substantial asset, and that also needs to be registered. Now there's two ways you can go. There's the small ships register, which is a Part 3, which is cheap. However, it doesn't prove full title or ownership, whereas Part 1 is more expensive, but what it does do is provide you with full title and proof of ownership of that vessel from pretty much the day it was born. That will help you in the future to resell the vessel, and it will also help you prove nationality and ownership if you are sailing around the world. For us, the SSR wasn't an option because ordinarily you need to be resident in the UK for more than 183 days. So the Part 1 for us was the best way to go, as it gives us that full comprehensive Part 1 registry for the boat, and we should be able to prove ownership and prove vessels origin all around the world. So for us, that's the way we went. Whilst it's slightly more expensive and a bit more paperwork, it's not insurmountable, and I would recommend those that are going cruising long term to get Part 1 registration. That is the way forward. So many of you would be asking why we found it confusing, and I'll tell you exactly why. It's when you buy a boat, you've got to then register it. You've also then got to register your radio for a call sign and MMSI number, and you've also got your life-saving beacons, etc. to register. Now when you go onto the ship's register to register the boat, one of the questions on there is what is your call sign and MMSI number, but clearly if you haven't registered the boat or you haven't registered the radio, then you haven't got that. But to register the radio you need the boat name, so you get this sort of waving piece between two different websites trying to get two sets of data to try and get the registry. So the one thing I would say to you is once you go onto the ship registry website, you make an account, and then everything on there is pending as you work through the process. So my point to take is go onto the ship's register first on the online portal, register for an account, and go through the initial setting up and registering of a vessel on there first. And then once you get your name, because it will not let you go any further forward till it allocates your name in a portal registry, then from there you can go to Ofcom to get the radio piece, and then go back to the ship's register with those details. And then as you find all the rest of the paperwork that's required for the registration, you upload it, day after day, week after week as you receive it, to put it on, and then it gets processed every time you upload something and then submit it back to them to do. So that would be my course of action. So to get to the website, then you're going to type into the Google search bar Ships Register UK, and that's going to give you a few options, but then the option you're looking for is the red flag group, UK Ship Register there, and then we want to go down to a vessel registration and give that a click. That will take you to the splash page for the UK Ship Register website. Then we're going to scroll down from there, and we're going to move down to the Part 1, which is the vessel registration, pleasure vessel registration. So from here then, all we simply do is we click on the pleasure vessel registration Part 1. That's going to take you to another page full of information. You can see on the right hand side lots of different links to places that will offer you information. You've also got a quick link to the small ships register should you be interested in a Part 3 registration, and then across you will see that the pleasure vessel according to legislation is worth a read as well. If you're liking my content so far, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, helps us out, and it shows a bit of appreciation that it's worthwhile doing this. So it'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, so what we now need to do then is get on with it and get on the online service, onto the portal. You click on that link at the top right and it'll take you to the UK ship register. Here, if you haven't already got an account, you'll have to make an account, and each owner of the vessel will also have to make an account if there's more than one owner. Then you move down and you'll see that there's a register a vessel button. Click on that and then you just follow it through the process, answering the questions required to start registering the vessel. So as I've said, the key is getting on the portal, picking your boat name and the port of registry, and obviously if the boat name's already taken it won't let you have it anyway, and you just keep on going with your boat names etc. until you're happy and you've got the relevant port of registry, and then it will take you into the page, and obviously then from there you can start worrying about all the paperwork that's required, which you can see on the screen. So you've got an application to register, a declaration of eligibility. You need 5 years title history in the form of bills of sales to the new owner, the builder certificate if the vessel's been built within the last 5 years, a copy of certificate of incorporation if the owner is a body corporate, the UK certificate of tonnage, survey for tonnage in the last 12 months by UK certifying authority. So you need to check that because there's only a certain amount of surveyors who have the certifying authority certificate, if you like, to be able to do the tonnage certificates. So for our boat, for instance, this was quite pricey, so in the region of £500+ to have a tonnage survey. So, and you will see at the bottom there £153 registration fee, which you can pay online. But clearly, you know, it's not a cheap registration in comparison to the Part 3 registry. You'll also see you need to upload a copy of your ship's radio licence and call sign, as I mentioned right at the beginning of the video. And you also need deletion certificate transcripts from the current register. So our boat, for instance, was registered in Romania. We had to get the deregistration certificate from the Romanian registry, and it needed to be notarised and translated to ensure that the UK could obviously understand it, that the boat had been removed from the Romanian registry. So quite a lot of paperwork, but I've already said, once you've opened up the application, it remains pending. So until you get all this stuff together, which can take a bit of time, to-ing and fro-ing, etc. But once you've got it, you can just upload it all straight onto the website. So it's fairly simple. So now we've covered off the Part 1 registry and how we do that, and it's pending, etc. I will just quickly take you through how we get across to the Ofcom website. So basically we go into Google, like any Google bar, and we're going to put applying for a marine radio license. It will then bring up the site where you can see ofcom.org.uk. Click on that and go into the link. Once we get into there, we need to then go down where we can see where it's got about ship radio and portable licenses. Click on that. And then you need to move into the licensing portal by clicking on that. And then we're going to scroll down, and you can probably register straight through there, log in as a new, or register as a new customer. But if you scroll down further on that page, where we go down now to the ship's radio licenses, there's also a secondary link in that drop down box when you press the plus button. I would just like to say that it is very, whilst it looks overwhelming, it is very simple if you're just patient with the process. I would also make a massive shout out to the UK Ship Registry in regards to when you phone their number for any help, etc. It's very quick to get through. You're speaking directly with a human being on the end, and they can advise you in any of the issues you may have, etc. going forward. Once all that's done, you will receive an email from them giving you a carving and marking note to say that all your paperwork's in order. And then the final sort of stage is you need to do a carving and marking note. So you need to carve or mark your boat with your official number and your net tonnage on a permanent part or structure of the boat, such as a beam, etc. There's certain ways to mark it. There's certain size lettering, etc. you need for the name in the portal registry. But once you've done that, you sign it off. If you're over 24 metres, I think you need a witness. You send it back, and then you'll end up with your certificate of registry for a Part 1. So I'm glad to report we've got ours, so very happy with that indeed. So finally then, before I go, if anybody's got any questions at all, if you'd like to leave a comment or go down below and ask me a question, I'll try my best as possible to get back to you with the answer as best as I know it. Clearly I can only talk from my own personal experience. I'm no expert on this, but clearly it's fresh in my mind as I've just done the process myself. So if anybody needs any sort of steers or guidance, reach out, give us a comment, give us a like if you can, and even better, I really like a subscribe. But yeah, you know, do what you can, and I'm happy to answer as much as I can. Until the next time, thank you very much. Don't knot it until you tied it. This is John from Sailing Clewless Crew.